24, and I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, and I've had to learn lessons the hard way. I know I'm young, but I hope that my mistakes can teach you something, and that is to avoid my stupidity. If you didn't know, hey, I'm Thompson. At 18, I joined the military with hopes and aspirations. Well, mainly I joined because I had nowhere else to go. Plan Z, it was like my only plan. Didn't have no money, wasn't gonna go to college, so I just booked it, left it right after high school. I got purposely kicked out of the military because I had dreams and aspirations to do something bigger with my life. And I get out, ended up scrubbing toilets and delivering food, door dashing, part-time. And so from there, I was at a commercial gym scrubbing toilets. I guess I had a knack for sales. I learned how to sell really well, and I took that skill to a bigger opportunity, and I became the VP of sales and face of a small company called Brother Cosmetics. They manufacture nail products, and I lost everything, and now I'm starting from scratch. These videos are my way of documenting the downs and the highs and the lows. I believe in vulnerability. If you go back on my old videos, you'll hear about me losing everything. I am completely transparent, and so right now I am a loser until I win, and then I'm never a loser ever again, right? We're gonna get right into it. That was a quick backstory if you didn't know. Lesson 1 from my mistakes is talk less than necessary. People judge you all the time. And I can say honestly that you should not be opening your mouth unless you get an idea or you have a gut feeling that this person is on your level. Talk less than necessary. Because if you're speaking to a small-minded individual and you have big dreams and aspirations, to them, it's not dreams and it's not aspirations and it's none of that. It's just boasting and arrogance. I've spoken to people with minds that are relatively small. I've spoken to people who cannot dream big, who cannot look further out. And anytime I speak or have spoken in the past, to them, I'm not discussing ideas, dreams, and how we can make it. To them, I'm boasting because I'm just telling them about how big my dream is, which makes them feel inferior because they don't dream the same thing. Let me give you a quick example. So when I was with the small company, Brother Cosmetics, I was the face of the company, and so I was selling a lot of products by means of social media. Right? I got easily recognized. And plus, I'm a sore thumb, man. Look at me. I'm a 6-foot Vietnamese man with a bunch of tattoos, and I sound black for crying out loud. It's awful. What is this, right? And I gained a lot of attention. I garnered a lot of attention because of this, whatever this is right here that I've built. I don't know how it got to this point, but this is the result thus far. So I garnered a lot of attention, and a lot of people knew me, right? Because I left the commercial gym job and I became the face of the company, and so I got easily recognized, right? I would shoot up on a lot of people's For You pages, and they would just see me. And so they assumed that I was doing it big. And then when I lost it all and I had to go look for jobs again and I had to start from scratch, I would discuss ideas with them, right? They'll be like, what happened with this? And I'll be like, it just didn't work out. Right? And I'll say, but I can't wait. I love this because I'll just tell them how hungry I was, and I'll tell them like, oh my gosh, I can't wait. This is a learning curve. I'm so excited because I look long, like anything that's in the space of personal development, self-improvement, business or sales, my brain just starts running 1,000 miles per hour. Like, I love it. I go haywire. The look of my eyes changes. The rate of speech changes. Like, I start talking a lot faster. And so that's an indication that if you hear someone talk fast, you can bet that their mind is working 10x the speed, right? 10 times as fast. So I would talk like this, and I'd be really hyped. And to them, I was just big-headed. I was really arrogant. Like, oh, you're so full of yourself, Thompson. And when I was able to reflect on that, I saw that they think I'm arrogant because they don't have the same caliber of dreams. Their dreams are on a different level. They don't dream about what I dream about. They kind of just dream about what they dream about, which is not what I dream about. And it's okay. Nothing's wrong with that. So I always believe in saying less than necessary. People aren't going to be able to comprehend you, and the ones that do, good. I make these videos because I know there's some people out here that get it, and if you watch it and you get it, congratulations, you get it. And there are some people that just don't get it. And I lived a life where I was trying to make everyone understand and make everyone get it. That's just not the game. The game is speak your truth. Some people will get it, some people won't. But for the most part, not a lot of people will be able to understand you or comprehend what you say because they just haven't been taught to dream that big or think differently. They've never had any time to think. I was lucky enough to have a lot of time to reflect and think when I was a lot younger, 19 to about 22, or 18 to 22 when I was in the military. There was a lot of time alone. I wasn't in prison, but it sure felt like it because I was confined to this small room that I shared with someone else, and I didn't enjoy being in there with him. And so I would sit on the balcony for hours and hours on end, pondering and thinking about what the meaning of life was. And so I have had the opportunity to reflect very deeply, which allowed me to see a side of myself that I never even knew existed. Some people just haven't had that opportunity yet. Some people go through that in their mid-30s, late 40s. Everyone's journey is different. And because of that, that's why you should say less than necessary. Just observe people. Unless you get asked a question, just don't open your mouth. There's no need to put your opinion in because no one asked. And I guarantee you they don't care unless they ask. And so to avoid all the nonsense, just don't say anything. Talk less than necessary. Second one, assume, I really like this one, assume people are good until they give you one reason not to trust them, and then retreat. You have two types of people. Person one doesn't trust anybody. They think everyone here is out to get them. Person two would be me. I trust everyone. And it's not because I'm blinded by the chaotic and evil nature that every human possesses. It's not because of that. It's not because I am toxically positive and I want to see the good in people. To a degree, I might. But for the most part, the reason I don't walk around thinking everyone's out to get me is because, one, it's too much of a burden. Imagine walking around and having to look over your shoulders every time because you don't trust anybody. It's too much of a burden. You're smart enough, you have a brain, you have 2 eyes, 2 ears. You should be able to observe someone and know exactly if you should trust them or not, based off conversation. That's it. I move this way because, one, I am all about allocating all of my energy towards what matters. And quite frankly, I don't believe in allocating my energy towards keeping my guard up 24/7 because I think people are out to get me. I just don't care enough. What is the worst that's gonna happen? I die? Then none of it matters anyways, right? Eventually, none of this is gonna matter. Not the success, the accolades, the cars, the fame, the money, the material possessions, the houses, the people you meet. Because in 100 years, we're all gonna be in the same spot. You, me, everyone. In the grave. So when I look at life through that lens, I see that nothing matters in the long run. And I play the long game. I don't play short games. I play the long game. And so if nothing matters eventually, then nothing matters now. And so I get to choose what matters now. And what matters now is not walking around with a backpack and so much weight on my shoulders because I don't trust anybody. Hey, I'm gonna let you behave how you behave, and I am smart enough to see how you speak, see how you move. And if I don't like it, I just retreat. More than that, I think the reason I do this is because I understand people, because I understand myself. And so I give people grace because not everyone has had the privilege or the opportunity to reflect deeply and understand the darkest parts of themselves. I have. And so I know that humans are just chaotic and evil by nature. And so we're 50% righteous and good, 50% evil and wicked and chaotic. That's just how we are. So when I look at people and I see how they move, I don't even blame them. I'm like, it's okay. I get it. Because I've been there. I've been the mindless person who didn't know himself, who had no sense of identity. I've been the person who no one trusted because I just didn't know what to do. I've been ignorant. So it's an ignorance problem. And I get it. Some people out here are ignorant. They just have to be taught and they have to be guided. And sometimes you have to give them that grace and that patience. I choose to see the good in people mainly because I sometimes wish that in my younger years, people saw the good in me. I just didn't have the intelligence to show them that. I was too ignorant, and it was an ignorance problem. And I meant well. I just didn't know how to show it. And so I understand how difficult it is to get to a point where you do know how to show it, to show your intentions. To not have your intentions and your actions kind of just clash, but to have your intentions and your actions harmoniously collide, and they make this congruent whole, this coherent whole that just flows naturally. I know how difficult it is. It took me forever, like a very long time, to learn how to integrate the two. So I choose to see the good in people because I remember how it felt when people saw the bad in me, when I really meant well. So I treat people how I wish the world would have treated me earlier. That's just kind of my philosophy. Next one. Understand that if someone is talking negatively about somebody else around you, they're probably talking about you the same way. Every single place I've been in my life, I would be with someone and they would talk negatively about another person when they're not around. So if I'm with X, then he's talking about Y negatively when Y is not around. And I would just sit there and I'd say, you want to say this to that person's face, but you'll say it to me. And so I can only imagine what you have to say to me or about me to somebody else. I didn't like that. Everyone moved like that. Everyone was just gossiping. So much drama. And I'm like, oh my gosh, man. I don't like talking about people. I like talking about ideas. I like talking about how to do better. I like talking about God. I like psychology. I like philosophy. I like money. And I sure do like learning how to get more of it. I don't really care to discuss other people. Like, I think the only way you can discuss other people and talk about them negatively is if you're a perfect human. And even then, I don't think it's the best move. So no one should be talking about anyone else negatively. I have a rule, and it's, if you only have bad things to say about somebody, it's a clear indication that you know nothing about them. Because not every human is terrible, not every human is terrible, but every human is more inclined to show the dark side. It's kind of habitual, it's natural. Doesn't mean it's good, but it's part of our design. So avoid that. Be the person that doesn't talk about other people. Just be the person that's just there, that's observing, looking around, analyzing, dissecting, regressing everything down, and understanding people, watching people. That's it. And when people come to you talking about, oh my gosh, did you hear about boom, boom, just say, put your hands up like this, be like, I have nothing to do with it. I don't know. That's it. And they'll see that you are completely uninterested in the drama. And they'll go find someone else to gossip to or to gossip with. You don't need to be a part of that. You are better, way better. All right, next one. Life is short or long. Either way, you're gonna die. And it isn't dark or depressing to acknowledge this. It just makes you strong because you can accept and understand that this is gonna end, and everyone runs away from this idea. So if you can accept it, you can leverage it. When you understand that none of this matters, you get to say, well, what's the point? And there's two sides of acknowledging that nothing matters and that everything's going to end and that none of this can come with you afterwards. The first person falls into this desolate state of hopelessness, and they're like, well, if none of this matters anyways, I'm just going to throw my life away. I've been that person. awareness of things of this caliber can really take a toll on you. Like seriously, it is a detriment to who you are. It will freaking tear you down. Or you can be the person that goes, well, it doesn't matter, so I have no restrictions. Let me see what I enjoy doing, and I'm just gonna keep doing it while I'm alive, even if it doesn't matter, right? We all play a video game knowing that it's gonna end, that we're gonna beat the final boss and finish the video game, and we're gonna have to buy a new video game. But it's about playing the game that makes it so fun. It's about the missions that you have to do, the people you meet, the things and the items you unlock, and life is the same thing. It's a game. Yes, we're all gonna die. Yes, none of this is gonna matter. But while you're alive, what matters is you just choose something to do. Find out what you love doing, or at least find out the reason why you don't want to die. And in doing so, you will discover meaning. Whatever keeps you from dying is literally what gives you meaning. Is it your mother, your father? Is it your peers? Is it a dream, a goal? Is it obtaining something? What is it? Figure that out. And I promise you that's how you'll discover the meaning of life, for you at least. The meaning of life for me and the meaning of life for you and him or her might be different. I define the meaning of life as simply existing, connecting, creating, experiencing, and then dying. That is the meaning for me. To do exactly what my design is made to do, which is experience all of this. And I just so happen to enjoy learning. And in doing so, I just so happen to acquire skills. And in doing so, I just so happen to become a little bit more intelligent and wise. And in doing so, I just so happen to really enjoy teaching people and telling you guys what I learned. And in doing so, it has given me something to focus on while I'm alive. And that's all it is. Next one. Do things so well and never brag. Make it look effortless. Don't even celebrate your own accomplishments. Make it seem like it's nothing. People will be shocked, I can guarantee you. They'll envy you, they'll hate you. The more the better. Because you know that deep down, you're doing what they could never do. And I believe in doing this because you can look at it from a competitive standpoint, and then you can just look at it from a humility standpoint. So, competitively speaking, if you are doing exceptionally well and your competitors or your competition is looking at you like, how's he doing it? And to you, you're not even breaking a sweat, they will get unmotivated. Can you imagine running, let's say you're racing somebody. You guys are doing a 10K, whatever. You guys are running a marathon and you're gassed out and you're pushing with everything you got. And then your competitor is just right next to you smiling. He's hurting. Trust me, he feels just like you, but he's like this. He's smiling. You know how unmotivated you'll get? You'll be like, oh my gosh. And so the idea is masking the pain to make your competition quit sooner than you. Because the truth is you're hurting. But do it and do it good and just don't brag about it. Just go. Just go. Don't show it. And then when people ask, just say, I don't know. I guess I just got lucky. Don't brag about how you train so hard. Make it look effortless. And people will just be blown away by how you do it. If you ask me, Thompson, how are you good at running? And I say, well, it's time and dedication. I spent hours behind the scenes, you know what I'm saying? They expect that. But if you just say, I'm not sure, I guess I got lucky. They know there's no way it's luck. Like, they know it's work ethic, but they see that you're humble enough to not share it. You're just like, who knows? And so they're like, wow, Thompson's one heck of a dude. Now, if you want to look at it from a humility standpoint, you just got lucky. We always want the world to know how hard we worked on something. We always want the world to give us our flowers and say, oh my gosh, you are the best. I can't believe you put in that much work. The pain you went through, oh my gosh, I can only imagine. Because we all want to feel understood to a degree. People give up on being understood when they feel misunderstood for so long. And they see evidently that no matter what I do, I just won't be understood, and so I just don't care about it, right? And that's why you see a lot of successful people, they don't really care about what other people think about them because they're going to be misunderstood regardless. But inside of every human, there lies a fragment of this desire to just be understood. We want the world to see our pain, see our stories, to just not give us sympathy, but empathy, to understand us, because life has been brutal to us. And we sometimes just want other people to see what we've been through so that they're like, damn, I get it. Like, you are the way you are because of that. I get it. The way to make it past that. Boom, fist bump, right? And so from a humility standpoint, if you just don't brag about how hard you had it and you just do it naturally, they'll also respect you, and you'll end up respecting yourself, because this constant desire for external validation and this desire to be understood diminishes. And so you say, I don't really care. And it's a lot more freeing and liberating when you move in that manner, because now I don't care what you think about me. I've been through hell and I somehow made it past. No big deal, right? And that's it. You leave it at that, okay? Next one, make the most of what you have. And I don't think people understand how valuable this one is. Make the most of what you have. If you have nothing, there's one thing you have, which is time. Do your best to look around you, see what else you can use to help you climb. Compile a list, capitalize on everything. Just use what you have. If you have nothing, can you find a couch to sleep on? If you have nothing, do you have time? Yes. Do you have skills? No. Do you have internet access? Yes. Can we learn skills? Yes. Do we want to learn skills? Who knows? Use what you had. Use what you have. When I lost everything, I had one thing, which was the ability to sell. And so I landed a job at a gym very quickly. Like, first interview, and then I got hired like the next day. Because they saw that it would take less time to train me, because I already knew what I was doing. All I had to learn was the operations, how this gym ran, their membership pricing, what's the procedure. I had to use that, because I was like, okay, I have the ability to sell, I have time, I have energy, I have pain, I have anger. This is everything I have, and I have a car. So I was like, with my car, I can DoorDash. With the pain and anger, I can use as fuel to keep going, and so I can do a job that's very difficult and taxing, because I am so freaking angry at where I'm at. I had the ability to sell, so I was like, okay, let's try a gym. And then I had time, so I said, no matter what happens, until I die, I have a chance to flip all of this and transform my life still. Because I've lost it all before, and I know how to get it back. And I document all of this because I can't wait to look back on these moments and say, how did I do it? Like, I literally can't wait 10 years from now, 5 years from now, to clip this exact moment in this video, and my life has transformed. And you guys see it. Like, I'm right here with you, which is why I say meet me at the top. And this is why I make the videos that I make, so that hopefully you don't have to feel the pain I felt. And your climb to the top is just a little bit easier than mine. You have to use what you have. You have something. Use it. And if you have nothing, you have time. So use that time to gain skills. Use that time to learn. It all starts with one question. If you don't know how to start a business and you have internet access, it starts with one question. Go on YouTube, how to start a business, and just watch all the videos. That's it. We have this bad habit of overcomplicating simplicity and oversimplifying complexity. Don't take what's simple and try to make it more complex. Do take what's complex and make it simple so that you can understand it more, so that you can soak all of it in, so that it's more easily digestible. But you have time if you have nothing. So use it. And I'm sure you have an emotion, pain, anger, guilt, shame, whatever. Use it. Leverage it. Don't let it destroy you. Let it make you. Leverage pain, leverage anger, leverage fear. If you're scared to start something, if you're scared to jump both feet in, that's fear. Fear can hold you back or fear can push you. Here's an example. If you are terrified of starting your business, but I hold a gun to your mother, your father, your sister, your brother's head, and everyone you love, your partner, your wife, your husband, whatever. If I hold a gun to their head and I say, find a way to start a business in 7 days, how quickly would you move? That's motivation. That's fear leveraged as motivation. Or you can let fear destroy you, which is fear of failure. And so you end up doing nothing. There's always a way to invert. There's always a way to take what you have, though it's negative, and turn it into a positive. And I love leveraging fear because that's all I had. I was so fearful of what people had to say about me. I was so fearful of having a good opportunity, dropping down, and having to come back to my old job where I was scrubbing toilets and say, can I scrub your toilets? I was so scared of what they were going to say about me. I was so terrified. My pride it couldn't take it. My poor ego couldn't take it. I was so scared, and I realized it doesn't matter because they don't give a damn. And so instead of that holding me back, I said, I'm going to leverage fear right now. Boom! Turn the lever on. And I just went. I said, let's go. I imagine, and I have this insane framework sometimes I use, and I imagine a gun held to the people that I love most and a bullet flying through their head and blood splattering everywhere and their body collapsing on the pavement if I just don't take action. And I vividly imagine that, and all I had to do to save them was take action. Just do it. And I snap out of it. I go. So use what you have. Please use what you have. Next one, humans are small-minded, and there was a time where I was the same way. It just isn't their time, so I really try my best to be patient with everybody. And eventually they'll look back and they'll see for themselves how foolish they were. And let them have that regret. Just keep watching and keep it pushing. When I was 18, I didn't have a complete understanding of myself, nor my psychology or my psyche, or just who I was as a being, or what any of this was, what the physical world was, what this external environment that I was in was. And I couldn't even conceptualize anything further beyond. And when I say further beyond, we can talk about the cosmos, the universe, God, energy, whatever is out here governing this physical plane of existence. I didn't have the capacity to think at that level, which meant I didn't have the capacity nor the ability or the intelligence to reflect inward. And so I didn't know myself. And so my behaviors, my actions, my speech, the way I was thinking, the way I was moving was purely a result of unconscious habits that have just been deeply embedded. And so I was acting unconsciously. But when I had the ability to be aware of the present moment of who I was, I said, why am I speaking like this? Why am I talking this fast? Why are my hands moving like this? What's commanding this movement? How am I able to look and direct my eyes and my head this way? What's commanding this? And so developing the awareness to deeply reflect inwards allowed me to process what I was going to say next, what I was going to do next, how I walked, how I talked, how I presented myself to people, because I wanted to give them the best version of myself. Because I believe that you have one reputation. You can't destroy it because it's very hard to rebuild your reputation. And so I remember how it felt to be completely clueless, mindless, a victim of your unconscious. Like I remember it. So anyone that I see act impulsively, they don't know themselves, they can't admit that everything is their fault. They lack awareness. You ask them questions and their answer is, I don't know. They get angered easily. They get upset easily. I just say, I get it, because I've been there. It's kind of like looking at a child break a vase. You don't get angry. You're annoyed, but you're like, I get it. It's just a child. They don't know better. And it goes the same way for people with small minds. They don't know better. They haven't been taught to think differently, behave differently. And they probably haven't had the time to. So I get it. And so I try to be patient with them because I wish more people were patient with me when I was in that stage of life where I didn't know myself and I was trying to figure it all out. And I meant well, my actions didn't align. And I wish more people were patient with me. I wish more people understood me. So when I see it, especially at work, right, it's a whole nother world when you're in a room with somebody trying to figure out how to make $10,000 a day to be in a room with people talk about how to save $5 on fast food. Like, the scope of the conversations that I had when I was at Brother Cosmetics versus the conversations that I'm surrounded by now are completely different. Right now, it's gossip, drama, celebrities, what new album or music has dropped, complaining about $15, like, and how a meal that's $17 is so expensive. And when I was over there, it was, let's find, if we spend $500, let's find a way to triple it. Who cares if we spend $500? We'll triple it. How can we get $10,000 in one day? How can we get 10,000 people to give us $1? How can we get 200 people to buy something for $14.99? What can we do? How can we do this? How can we do this? How many channels do we have? How many funnels do we have? How many tunnels of, what can we do? Like, it was a whole nother game. And it's annoying, but I get it. Like, I get it. Some people are just built differently, and some people just haven't been exposed to different things, right? I've been exposed to that side. I've been exposed to spirituality and personal development. I've been exposed to understanding your psyche. I've been exposed to learning about all these things. Some people haven't. And I've been exposed to the side of business to where this is all I spoke about with my boy. Some people haven't had that opportunity, and so that's why they can't speak or think on the same level. There's no exposure. And so I acknowledge that, so it's very hard for me to get affected. Like, someone can slap me, and it will be very hard for me to get affected. Like, I'll just say, I'll kind of shrug and I'll say, it's okay. Because I get it. They're acting off impulse. They're not in control of their own emotions. Like, it's so difficult for me to get affected by anything because I understand people, only because I understand myself. Someone can spit in my face and I will literally sit there and say, it is okay. Because I get it. Because there was a time where I was worse. I get it. Last one. Sometimes understanding how the universe works isn't really necessary. There's only a small percentage of people who can actually dive deep into the abyss and not become insane. At the end of the day, the deeper you go into the abyss, the more you will detach from everything that is physical. Nothing will matter to you. And so this path is very devastating. The journey of self-awareness and the journey of truly understanding your avatar and possibly conceptualizing anything that's beyond us and how the world functions and how the behaviors of living organisms kind of integrate themselves as a part of this collective unit, which we play a big role in, and how we are similar to a degree and how everything's connected. It's fun and all, but the deeper you go down that rabbit hole, the more difficult it will be for you to be normal. And I've been there. And so for any of my people that are hyper intelligent, who have entered the rabbit hole, who have discovered the abyss, who have seen a different side of this world, who have the ones that have unlocked a certain intelligence deep within the constructs of their mind, the people who have seen a side of the world that no one else can see, not with these eyes, I guarantee you that eventually you will have to do one thing, which is integrate yourself back into society and accept the fact that you are still a human, and that's it. Anyone that's hyper intelligent wants to just stay away from the world, exist in their own misery, and just stay in the confines of their own isolation and solitude. It's natural because it's too painful for us to speak to the mindless. Like, we just want to shake them and tell them wake up, but we can't. They'll think we're crazy. There's a quote by Nietzsche, I believe, and it goes, and those that were seen dancing were thought to be insane by those who could not hear the music. My gosh, how how magnificent. So brilliant. What a beautiful way to describe awakening. It's a dangerous hole, and it's not necessary. Everything I talk about is how to do better. And everything I've learned all regresses down to, are you going to do it or not? Can you get rid of fear? Don't care about the opinions of others. Take the leap, keep at it, and do it again. Everything I've learned just regresses down to that. That's why the whole self-development industry is oversaturated, because there's thousands of people giving you different ways and techniques to do things, which is cool, right? It's cool. If you need a different technique to try to get up early in the morning, okay, cool. If you need someone to splash you with water, cool. It just boils down to one thing. Do you have the courage to do it or not? Do you have the guts to keep going? Do you have the willpower to not give up? That's all it boils down to. So sometimes this constant desire to understand the universe and the cosmos and everything that's beyond us is completely unnecessary. You can either develop skills in your early years, get hyper successful, buy back time so that you can then discover the meaning of life and find your meaning and understand the cosmos. Or you can start with that, trying to understand the cosmos, risk insanity, and then just realize that none of it matters, and then you end up focusing on trying to become successful. Your call. I didn't choose, but it just so happened that I took the second path. I spent years trying to understand the universe and the cosmos and everything around me and everything inside of me and everything and how it all connects. And I went insane. And I had to integrate myself back into society. And I realized, well, while I'm alive, I'm going to play the game. And so let's see how I can be the best version of myself, and let's see how I can get a lot of money. Let's just do it. Let's play the game. Let's play the game of money acquisition. Let's just see what I can do. So in doing so, that has made me feel a lot better than this, trying to understand the cosmos. Constantly thinking about things that are in my control and things that I can act upon. It's hard for you to act upon things that are infinite. We're finite. We're here. We're physical. There's a wall. We can't really jump past this. Anything infinite and beyond us, it's kind of hard to take action. Like, you learn it and you're like, well, what do I do with this? It's just knowledge here that's just devastatingly painful, right? But if we go over here and say, well, how can I become successful? Wake up early. Oh, I could wake up early. Nice. What else? Delay gratification. Oh, I can do that, right? But it's over here like, how can I understand the universe? It's like, well, nothing I can do. Nothing. So it's devastating when you gain knowledge, when you acquire new pieces of information and you become more knowledgeable and intelligent and you don't act upon it, it just kind of eats away at you. Don't make those mistakes that I made. To sum everything up, I believe in just taking action. I'm not saying this is what you should do. I'm just saying this is what worked for me. And these are some lessons that I really wish I avoided. Because these are some of the lessons that really caused me the most pain. And these were some mistakes. And if you know, I'm all about mistakes, because if I can teach you how to avoid, I think you'll be a lot more successful. If I teach you how to be successful, you don't know what to avoid. But if I teach you what to avoid, then you can embark on the journey of being successful, and you can make it a lot farther than me. And you can get there quicker than me. And then you can avoid all the stuff that I had to learn. People say, well, don't mistakes and all that teach you things? Yeah, it teaches you to not do it. Yeah, it teaches you to avoid it. Like, like, that's what it teaches you. If you fall off a bike, it teaches you to ride the bike better. Or you could just ride the bike really well the first time. That's it. That's all I got for this one. Peace out.